Hello everyone, welcome to Dakshina e-classroom program. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss the solution to previous year IIT questions. Means questions which has been asked in previous year IIT exams. I will be discussing those questions or those questions, solutions to those questions chapter wise. And today I'm going to talk about the chapter that is motion in 1D. So let me tell you first more about this chapter. This is the basically if we start officially the physics part, then it is the first chapter actually. And initially students normally find it little bit difficult, not everyone but few students, but by the time they solve more problems, they learn more advanced topics in the physics, then everybody almost find it very easy chapter. Another point is that this is if I just look at this chapter from exam point of view, from by the way like questions are asked, then there are very few questions asked from this chapter directly, is it? So means it happened that rarely where IIT asked directly questions based on this chapter. Otherwise, not questions are not much asked from this chapter. But yes, it is quite important from the point that the concept that we study in this chapter are almost used in every chapter, in every even if you study modern physics, maybe you will find some problem where distance, speed, velocity, these concepts will be used in that chapter also. So the concept of this chapter used in almost complete physics, but there are rarely happen that questions from this chapter are asked directly, is it? But still in previous few years some questions has been asked. So first we will discuss the solution, then you will have idea that what exactly type of questions will ask or questions IIT have asked from this chapter. And you will find it actually the questions that IIT have asked from this chapter, they are also not very much not very difficult, not of very high level. They are just okay, good questions. If you are just familiar with the good concept and have done some good amount of practice, then you will should be in position to answer the questions which has been asked from this chapter. So that is about all about this chapter. Then I will be let's discuss the solution to the problems which has been asked by IIT in the previous years, and then I will try to make a revision video based on this chapter. So I will discuss the topics which you can say if you're just going through that, that will help you in understanding in solving problem based on this. So let me just start with this question. This is the question which has been asked in 2014, and let me read it. So from a tower of height capital H, a particle is thrown vertically upward with a speed u. Time taken by the particle to hit the ground is n times that time taken by it to reach the highest point of its path. The relation between h, u and n is. So this is the question. The diagram is not given, but this I have drawn it to make the solution. So let me first make it clear that what question exactly it is saying. So a ball is thrown or a particle is thrown from top of tower. So let's say this is a tower of height capital H. From top of it we are throwing a particle with the speed u upward. Okay, what will happen? It will go up to maximum height here and then it will fall. So time taken from here to there, let's say this is t1. Okay, and time taken from here to there to fall, let's say it's t2. Then according to the question, it is saying time taken by the particle to hit the ground means t2 is n times that taken by it to reach the highest point. This is the highest point. So the relation given is t2 is equal to n times of t1. This is the condition given. So we will just go through the questions and we will try to just get the relation based on whatever condition provided to us in the question. So this is the condition given that t2 is related to t1 by t2 is equal to n times of t1. Then simple approach to this question is that we will get the expression for t2, we will get the expression for t1, and by substituting in this relation we will automatically get one of the relations. These are four options given in the problem. So let's get first t1. I am making this is origin and taking this is x-axis and this is my positive y-axis. So you can understand initial velocity in y direction it's u positive, a y it's minus z, and at this point, at highest point, what will happen? Anything you can relate? Highest point means we can directly definitely write Vy will be equal to 0. Vy equal to Uy minus Gt equal to 0, and this implies U minus Gt equal to 0 T1, and that implies T1 is equal to U by Z. So we got one relation. Okay, T1. Next thing is, it's saying time taken by the particle to hit the ground. Just 1 second. This T2 time is time taken by the particle to hit the ground, means total time this to hit the ground, is it? That is T2. So time taken to hit the ground. Okay, so when it is reaching at ground, what will be the final displacement? I can write Sy will be equal to minus of h. Uy already U, and Ay is minus Z. So let's get that. So minus h equal to Uy, that is U into T2 minus G T2 square divided by 2. This is simplifying it. This you can write basically G T2 square minus U T2 minus 2 capital H equal to 0, and simplifying it further, this implies T2 equal to, this is just 1 second, this there will be 2 if I take LCM. So this is 2u plus minus under root 4u square plus 8gh divided by 2g, right? This, and then so I got ultimately minus will not be there because this quantity is definitely greater than this. If I am taking this minus sign, it will be total overall negative sign, negative time, which is not possible. So minus sign will disappear and I will get T2 is equal to 2u, and if I even take u2 common from here, then I am getting u plus under root u square plus 2gh divided by g. This is the final expression for T2. Then let's substitute both T1 and T2 in this condition. So we will get u plus under root u plus gh u square 2gh divided by g equal to n times u by g. G gets cancelled, and simplifying u square plus 2gh equal to n minus 1 u. Let me make it directly square also, and then just rearranging it, we are getting 2gh equal to, this is n u square n minus 2. Simplifying it, n square plus n square u square plus u square minus 2 n u. U square will get cancelled out, and then taking n u square common, we are getting this. So it's matching with option 3. So the answer to this question will be 3. So you can understand it's like quite straightforward problem. And let's continue with the next question. Okay, see the next question. A small block slide without friction down an inclined plane starting from rest. Let Sn be the distance traveled from n minus 1 to n second. Okay, then Sn by Sn plus 1 is. So this is the problem which has been asked in 2004, and I hope if you read it even like then also you must be getting idea what exactly this problem is. It's like quite simple, it's not very complex, and let me tell you how we can. So first thing is, here it's given a particle is sliding down an inclined plane, and let me just consider this is an inclined plane with angle of inclination theta, and the particle is sliding like this, starting from rest, initial speed 0 or velocity 0, and acceleration will be here, a will be equal to g sine theta. Let me take it simple, a, because things will cancel out, so we don't need it exactly g sine theta, but still I will take the acceleration a, that actually will be equal to g sine theta if theta is the angle of inclination. It's given that plane is smooth without friction, so mu is clearly given as 0. Okay, then we already have actually one standard equation to calculate the distance traveled from Sn to, I mean, like in nth second, is it? So this is basically Sn minus 1 to Sn, that is called distance or displacement in nth second. So, or otherwise what we can do is actually we can go with the basic also, but if you want like fast, then you can go directly with the, so here we know as n is equal to u plus, this is all right, 2n minus 1 into a by 2. This is the formula actually, and clearly it's given n is what, 0. So this is the basically Sn is, this is n minus 1 to n is displacement or distance in nth second, and that is Sn, is it? It's also given Sn be the distance traveled from this to this, that is called nth second, and we know the already relation for this is equal to that. So I can directly write Sn will be equal to what, u is 0 and a divided by 2, this is 2n minus 1, and then for like Sn plus 1 it will be equal to, means its displacement, means displacement from n to n plus 1 second, right? And that is actually equal to, as I will just substitute n by n plus 1, then we are getting u is again 0, a by 2, this is 2 n plus 1 plus 1, this is minus 1, and simplifying it we are getting it a by 2, this is 2n plus 1. So we got actually the n plus 1, Sn plus 1. Now it's simply asking the ratio of Sn divided by, so by using these two relations we can easily get Sn divided by n plus 1, and just dividing it a by 2, 2n minus 1 divided by a by 2, 2n plus 1, this cancelled out, and finally we are getting, this is 2n minus 1, 2n plus 1, and this implies Sn by Sn plus 1 equal to 2n minus 1 divided by 2n plus 1. So this is the answer. Another way you can do this problem, that will be a little bit lengthy, so I hope first you are understanding this. It's simple, it's a straightforward formula based problem. We know this is the relation, standard relation that we studied normally. This is the fourth, we call it fourth equation of motion also. If you just apply it, substituting it and simplifying it a little bit, we are getting, this is the straightforward answer. Another way is you can actually calculate u is equal to 0, a acceleration a, and then you can calculate displacement, is it, as in n second. Sn means n second, or then calculate, that will be equal to 0 plus half a n square, that's Sn minus 1, 0 plus half a n minus 1 whole square. So we are getting displacement in total n second, displacement in n minus 1 second, just Sn minus 1, that is equal to half a, this is n square minus this n square plus 1 minus, minus n square plus 1 minus 2n. I hope, let me just write it here. So this will be equal to 1 by 2a, this is n square minus n minus 1 whole square, n square plus 1 minus 2n, and just taking this minus, this is minus, this is plus, cancelled out, and finally we are getting, actually this is a by 2, this is 2n minus 1. Exactly, we get same thing. Or similarly you can go for next case also. So this is as nth, and that is what it is exactly saying. So similarly, you can calculate for Sn to Sn minus n plus 1, or Sn plus 1 minus Sn will be like Sn plus 1th, and then you will get this expression, and just dividing it, we are getting straightforward answer, and it matches with actually your option C. So that is your next problem. Thank you. Okay, so the next question we have, question number 3. Let me read the first question. A rocket is moving in gravity-free space with constant acceleration 2 meters per second along positive x direction, and the length of the chamber inside the rocket is, this is the length of the chamber, which is given as 4 meters. A ball is thrown from left end of the chamber in the positive x direction with a speed of 0.3 meter per second relative to the rocket. So one ball, let me write it, this is ball A, is thrown from this left chamber left end of the chamber with this much speed relative to rocket, and in the positive x direction at same time. So means exactly at same time another ball, let me write it, ball B, is thrown in negative x direction with a speed of 0.3 meter per second. So this is 0.2 meter per second. This is also relative to rocket. Okay, with this from its right and relative to the rocket. The time in second when the two balls hit each other. So basically we need to find time, is it, of collision of two balls. This is the objective of question. It is asking when two balls will collide. So the good thing about this question is that there are many approaches, and by every approach if you solve, you will get answer, and many of them will be actually wrong, and you need to understand why that will be wrong. Okay, so first let me solve this question with the true and what is the answer according to that. Then I will tell you what is the wrong approach and why that is wrong, and what how we should approach it properly. Okay, so first thing is in this question, let me sit in this frame. Is it? So we are in rocket frame. From rocket frame. So then acceleration of this ball will be what? I am in non-inertial frame. So it will have acceleration this 2 meter per second square, and this will also have ball acceleration this 2 meter per second square. So we just look at the relative acceleration of ball B with respect to A, then it will be 0, is it? And relative velocity will become 0.5. So according to that we should get different answer, but wait for it. So the thing is that from here, so let me just check. First thing is how much time it will take. I mean, like, what will be the maximum, because what will happen, this is just, forget about this rocket, is it? Okay, just you can imagine it in vertical plane like this. This is let's say your positive x direction. Then one ball is thrown from here 0.3 meter per second, another is dropped from here 0.2 meter per second. Just try to imagine it like this, and the acceleration is this 2 meter per second square, and for this acceleration is 2 meter per second square. So you can see the motion of this ball will be actually retarding, motion of this ball will be accelerating. So what will happen, it will go up to some maximum height and it will come back, is it? So let me get just, and this distance is given to you. What is that? That is 2 meter. So finally, how much time it will take to reach here, or what will be the maximum distance, is it? So let's say this is the maximum distance SM, let me write it, this is ball A, this is ball B. SMA is the maximum distance by ball A. So that can be written as final velocity will be 0. So SMA will be equal to U square by 2A, that is equal to how much? 0.3 square divided by 2 into 2, that is 4. So it's 0.09 divided by 4, that comes out to be 0.02 roughly meter. And similarly SMB, I don't think that definitely it can reach up to here also, is it? Because it's accelerating motion, so it will be definitely reaching here. But the one point you can see from here, it's traveling very small distance. It's not traveling much, is it? It's just going up to here and that's all, then coming back. Another, let me just tell you the time, is it, when it will be like the velocity will become 0, time when UA will be 0 or VA will be 0. So VA will be 0 equal to UA 0.3 minus 2 into T imply equal, so this implies T is coming out to be 0.15 second. This is the data information about ball A. Similarly for ball B, when it will be reaching this end, time to reach other end, because definitely it will be reaching other end, so no point in calculating the SMB, maximum displacement by ball B, is it? So that I can get like final value here, displacement will be 4 equal to initial velocity 0.2 into T plus half A is 2 into T square, that's a TB. Simplifying it straightforward, we get, actually solving it, we get TB roughly 1.9 second. It's simple quadratic equation, you will solve it. So another thing is that it's actually traveling, or it's taking almost like 1.9 second from here to there, and it's traveling how much? 0.15 second. So in same, like it will be by within 0.3 second it will be reaching here. So you can just imagine, by the time this ball is landing back on this surface, this ball is still traveling, so no possibility that this ball will be colliding somewhere in between. Getting my point? So the ball will be actually colliding near this end, and time taken will be almost, by the time this ball will be reaching, only then they will be colliding, is it? So both balls will collide near the left end. According to this diagram, I have just drawn it to make it clear better, so that you can just imagine it just like in gravity, is it? So both balls will collide near the left end, and after time, this is a 1.9 second, but I will be like nearest integer, I will be writing it time of around 2 seconds. So actually this is the answer, and that is the correct approach. Now let me explain you what can be the wrong thing, how we can approach it wrongly, and you will be thinking this is the right approach, and you might be thinking this is the right answer, but actually that will not be right, and I will tell you why that will be also not right. So first, I hope you are clear with this simple thing. We just calculated the distance, maximum distance, how much it is traveling. It comes out to be 0.02 meter. That is like very near. I mean, like it's not traveling much, it's almost near to this. Another thing is the time to travel even up to here is also very low, that is 0.15 second, and the time taken by this ball to reach this end is 1.9 second. So means if collision is taking place, then that will be taking around this time, is it? Because this ball is traveling very less distance, and when this ball will be reaching almost near this end, then only collision will happen. And you can see by the time this ball will even return back to this surface, and it's not given that collision is elastic, so it will keep on bouncing and like that, that's not going to happen. So that's why the collision will happen near this end, and we got it will be just equal to almost the time this ball will take to reach this end. So that comes out to be answer is 2 seconds. Now this is the correct answer, and that is the correct approach. And now let me explain you something else. So mistake, is it? Wrong approach. What is that? So normally what we do, we are in this frame. Acceleration, you can write, if I take this is positive x, so UA is 0.3 meter per second, AA you can write minus 2 meter per second square, UB equal to 0.2 minus meter per second, and AB acceleration of B is minus 2 meter per second. So now if you look for acceleration of UAB, that comes out to be 0.5 meter per second, and AAB is 0, means the relative acceleration is 0. So now relative velocity, it's like constant velocity motion, acceleration 0, and displacement, what is that? That is 4 meter. So time taken is equal to, like, if you just look at it, velocity, acceleration, velocity, acceleration. Relative velocity, we are getting this. Relative acceleration, it's 0, no doubt, that's correct. And displacement between them, 4 meters. So time taken will be like, it will be, you can write 4 meter is equal to what? VIB, relative velocity multiplied by time. This implies T is equal to 4 divided by 0.5, that is equal, coming out to be 8 seconds. But this is not right option. Is it clear? Now why? Look at it. So this is one of the approach many students must have followed even in exam, and they might be thinking, oh, this is very easy, and they definitely must have done it wrong. Now let me tell you why this is wrong, and with the right approach you might have already got the idea why it is wrong, but still let me explain you. You can just imagine the situation, what exactly is happening. If let's say this is ground and this is tower of some height. One ball is thrown here, from here, let's say 10 meter per second or 20 meter per second. Is it? Height of the tower is quite large. Let's say this is 200 meter. Okay, so it will take some time to fall. Another ball is thrown from here, and that too with 2 meter per second. Definitely everything is under G. So how much time it will take for this ball to hit the ground back? Just calculate it. It will be like final velocity hit the ground means minus 2 equal to final velocity, because at the time of hitting the ground velocity will become minus 2 initial velocity, and this is minus 10 into t. This comes out to be basically t is equal to 0.4 second. And you can calculate the time taken by this ball to hit the ground. That will be definitely greater than will be in few seconds. So the point is that motion of this ball is only up to 0.4 second. If I talk about the relative motion between two balls up to this second, this much duration of time, that's perfectly fine. But after some time, once this ball has hit the ground and this ball is, let's say, still here, now because this ball is at ground, there is no motion, there is no acceleration. Now if you still consider the relative motion between these two balls and relative acceleration between these two balls 0, that's the wrong thing. Because once this ball has hit the ground, it's not in motion, its acceleration will be 0. Then how can you still take the relative acceleration of this ball with respect to this equal to 0? That's not possible. That's the wrong thing we are dealing. Because the motion of this ball is only for this much time. And this will be taking, we can solve it, we will be taking, let's say, just I'm taking it, it's taking, let's say, 5 seconds. I'm not doing the calculation, just roughly to make you understand. So let's say it's taking 5 seconds. So if I'm taking the relative motion between these two balls up to 0.4 seconds, then it's correct, no doubt, nothing is wrong. But after 0.4 seconds, from 0.5 second to 5 second, how can I take still the relative motion between these two balls? Because this ball is not in motion. And that's the mistake many students did here actually. So this is not the correct approach, and I hope you must be even clear that why the approach is not correct. Okay, so let me let's discuss next problem. Okay, so the next question here, question number 4, which is a graph based question asked in 2005. The given graph shows the variation of velocity with displacement. Okay, so basically Vx graph is given. Which one of the following graph given below correctly represent the variation of acceleration versus displacement? So it's asking the conversion of this graph Vx to Ax. Is it? But it's like little bit different that normally we study in conversion of graph and understanding graph. We calculate like normally draw from VT AT to like ST, or maybe VT to AT or AT to VT, like that, means slope and area. But here it's like little bit different, not much complex, but just you need to do like little bit calculation part here. So the approach to this, because the thing is that there is no direct relation between velocity and like, just like if I am giving you this is VT graph and if it is asking like us to find AT, then what we will look at the slope of this graph. Similarly, if it is asked to look for displacement time, then we will look for the area under the graph. But exactly in that way, there is no such relation that you look for displacement, slope or something like that, that will give you this relation. So that is not possible here. So the approach will be what we will do here. The thing is that we need to go with we will write the equation of this graph. We will get the relation between displacement and acceleration. Once we have relation, we will plot it. That's the approach to solve this problem. So the slope, let me first get the expression. So slope, definitely it will be negative, and that comes out to be minus V naught by X naught. Intercept V naught. Then the equation of this graph, is it? Equation that can be written V is equal to what? Mx minus V naught by X naught into X plus C is V naught. Y is equal to Mx plus C by using that. So I got the expression of velocity with position or displacement. So the final relation here, or you can write equation of Vx graph, that comes out to be V is equal to minus V naught by X naught into X plus V naught. This is the Vx graph. Displacement position. So what we will do? We will differentiate it. Differentiate with respect to time. Differentiating dV by dt equal to minus V naught by X naught into dx by dt plus dV naught by dt, because V naught is constant, so this quantity will be 0. This is what? Acceleration minus V naught by X naught, and what is this? This is velocity. Velocity, because no such expression for like directly, but we have velocity in this because we got here acceleration versus velocity graph. If A versus velocity is asked, we will plot this graph, but it's actually asking acceleration versus displacement. So we need to get the ultimately relation of acceleration in terms of displacement. So if I'm substituting here V from here, then we are getting minus V naught by X naught, and V is equal to minus V naught by X naught into X plus V naught. Simplifying it, I am getting finally this is V naught by X naught whole square into X minus V naught square by X naught. So this is what? One constant, so I can write A is equal to some M prime X minus this is also some constant C. So this graph is actually appearing like this in this form. Then plot slope positive, intercept minus C negative, minus C intercept negative, slope positive. So it will be like this, A versus X graph. And if you just look at match it, it's matching here with option 1, and that's the correct option. So this is the approach to solve this type of problem. I hope like if you have not done not solved this type of problem, it will be a good learning point for you people, because normally we do the like graph related problem which are straightforward, like conversion, looking at the slope or area and something like that, is it? variations of slope, but here it's we need to do so, means when things are not straightforward or where we cannot deal directly by looking at the slope and area, then we need to go with the writing equation approach, and that's the thing actually. So doesn't matter what like relation is provided to you and what exactly relation is asking, always whatever the condition is given, write the equation, differentiate, integrate based on what exactly it is asking, get the final expression and plot it. That's the approach. Okay, let's see the next problem. Okay, let's see a few next questions. Two more here we have. So question number 5, a particle start from rest, its acceleration versus time graph is shown below and maximum speed of the particle will be. So if you remember the concept of like velocity from acceleration versus time graph, the concept is simply the area under AT graph gives you velocity. In within fraction of second, within few seconds you can get the answer. Answer will be like simply calculating the area. Another thing is that you can see the area is maximum at this second, and it's talking about the maximum speed. So it will be actually because even no further information is given about the graph after 11 second, and up to 11 second definitely area under the graph is increasing. Is it this? Then it's increasing more, then increasing more. So definitely the velocity or speed is increasing, right? So with that we can easily get the answer. So speed or will be equal to here velocity, and that will be equal to area under AT graph, and this can be calculated easy. Half base into height 10, that comes out to be 55 meter per second. So the answer is 55 meter per second. That is your question, and this is actually asked in 2000. Just let me tell you exactly when it was asked. Okay, this is actually in 2004, and the next question we have here, that was from 2000. Okay, so let's see the next one. A ball is dropped vertically from height d above the ground, and it hits the ground and bounces up vertically to a height d by 2, neglecting the subsequent motion and air resistance. Its velocity v varies with height h above the ground. So one way is to exactly get the expression, but as according to the options given, we can look for it. We can straightforward like just get the idea, a logical just rough idea that how exactly things would be varying. Then from there also we can eliminate the option and we can just check, okay, what can be the possibly correct answer, is it? So one thing is here given, let's say this is the ground, ball is initially dropped from height and d, its ball is dropped. So initial velocity means at t equal to 0, initially the velocity should be what? U will be equal to 0, right? This is v versus h, and initially what will be the, what is the h? H is equal to d, so the graph will be starting definitely from here, is it? Now as we can see, h will mean like you can say h will decrease, d will decrease, ball will accelerate, so its velocity will increase but downward, is it? So if you are taking that downward as positive, then it will be increasing upward. If you are taking it downward negative, then it will be increasing downward. Another thing is the variation will be like linear or parabolic, that we can get very easily. So I can write, let's say the displacement is s, then let's get the value of s, is it? Or either you can write displacement, from there also we can get the, so initial velocity 0, so v square minus u square is equal to what? 2a into s. So this is 0, so we can get actually the relation will be sort of like parabolic, not straight line, is it? And so parabolic means it will be either this way or this way. Is it? If I am taking it positive, then it will be this way. If I am taking with direction downward as negative, then it should be this way. Now you can check from here. Yes, there is no option actually matching. Is it? Because it should start from here, not from here. Right, initially the height is not 0, initially the height is d, so it should be starting from here. Clear? So then we can directly get it. And now what will happen once it has hit the ground here? Velocity will be this. After it's like bouncing, then velocity, because initially it's downward, it will bounce upwards, so velocity will immediately change the direction, and it is bouncing back with a small speed, so it will be starting from here, and then again variation, it will be like this. So you can see this will be the relation that we can directly get it logically without even getting the proper like relation and exactly all that. So you can check it, it's exactly matching, because here it's not initially starting from d is equal to 0, which is definitely not right. Here it's initially also starting from d is equal to 0, that's also not right. This arrow is basically showing you the process, is it, how it is moving. So in this case it's starting from d, and but the graph, only the condition is here it's linear, and we are not getting here linear. So this is the next question. The question which I am discussing here, like they are only for last previous 20-year questions, not before that. So these are all questions basically asked in IIT from like last 20 years and from chapter motion in 1D. So like not much questions are asked. These are like, you can say, in previous years some questions has been asked. Now if like questions are asked, then they will be like somehow related to this, not exactly like particularly based on completely on this chapter, that like very few questions are asked. So I hope you must be clear with the like understanding with the questions that I discussed here, and let's see you next.